Hello and welcome back to the lesson. Today we continue with the subject Public Sector Governance, Policy and Administration. In our today's lesson, we are going to study the organization and governance structure. In this lesson, we will mainly focus on the components of the governance structure, which refers to the formal arrangement of authority, decision-making bodies, and accountability lines within a public enterprise. It is this organization and governance structure that defines who sets strategic direction, who manages the day-to-day operations, and how each is held accountable to the state and to the public as ultimate owner. The public is the ultimate owner, so there ought to be the element of accountability. And a sound structure separates oversight from management while ensuring that both remain answerable for performance. And candidates, public enterprises, we all know, operate with the degree of commercial autonomy, but mainly remain publicly owned. You understand? Yes. The governance structure is what balances that autonomy against the state's need to ensure the entity serves public interest, and also that the entity remains financially sound and doesn't become a vehicle for patronage or a vehicle for mismanagement. So the question we need to answer now is, what are the components of a governance structure of a public enterprise? The first one is, the first component is the parent ministry. Parent ministry, or what we sometimes call the line ministry. Line ministry. The line ministry. This parent ministry or line ministry is one that sets sector policy direction and exercises overall state oversight of the enterprise's alignment with government priorities. Every public enterprise or parastatal has to lie within a certain ministry, what we are calling a line ministry. It is this ministry that sets sector policy direction, such that each and every public enterprise has to align with the priorities that are set or the direction that is given by the line ministry. Number two, board of directors. Board of directors. Now, the board of directors is the apex governance organ responsible for strategic direction, responsible for policy approval and oversight of management, and it is legally accountable for the enterprise's performance and compliance. The directors of the enterprise are the ones we are discussing here. It is the apex governance organ. So from the line ministry, we have now the board of directors. This is the organ that is responsible for strategic direction. And it is the organ that ensures that there is a proper enterprise performance and compliance. Where the enterprise fails to comply with laws, regulations, and even the direction that is given by the line ministry, it is the board of directors who may be held accountable and responsible. Number three, chief executive officer or the managing director. Now, the chief executive officer or the managing director is the one that is responsible for the day-to-day operational management. It is the CEO that ensures that there is implementation of the board-approved strategy It is also the MD or the CEO that reports to the board, the CEO or the managing director. Number 4 is the management team. Management team. Under the CEO cannot work alone. The CEO needs to have a team, or what we sometimes call the executive committee. This management team includes departmental heads who execute operational functions under the CEO's direction. Departmental heads could be the head of the marketing department, the head of the finance department, the production department, and so on. The management team. Number 5, finally, we are discussing the organization and governance structure of a public enterprise. We have the management team. Then there is also the shareholding or ownership entity. Shareholding or ownership entity. Shareholding or ownership entity. This represents the state's, the shareholding or the ownership entity is the one that represents the state's ownership interests. And this could be the National Treasury for shareholding matters, which is distinct from the, say, the security or the sector ministry's policy role. You understand? Yes, the ownership entity represents the state's ownership interests. So these are very important aspects of the organization and governance structure of a public entity. Now, in closing, we will briefly discuss the principles. The principles. Let's outline some of the principles governing governance structure. Now, for public enterprises, the principles governing the structure is the Mwongozo Code, or the State Corporations Governance Code. And one principle that we find in that code is what we call separation of powers. Separation of powers. Separation of powers. There ought to be clear distinction between the board's oversight role and the management's oversight. I mean, the management's executive role. The board performs an oversight role. On the other hand, the CEO and the management team are the ones that are responsible for executing the company's strategy. There has to be a distinction. That is to mean that those who sit on the board should not be the ones involved in the day-to-day operations of the organization. There ought to be separation of powers. You understand? Yes. There should be clear distinction between the board's oversight role and the management's executive role, which then prevents encroaching on others' function. The function should be distinct. The CEO should not encroach on the board's role. The board should also, again, not encroach on the CEO's role. Separation of power is a very important principle when it comes to governance structure. Number 2 is the accountability. Another principle, accountability. Accountability is a principle. Accountability. Each organ is answerable for its specific mandate, both internally to the board and also externally to Parliament, to auditors, and to the public. Those who sit on this structure, organization structure, they are answerable, they are accountable. That is a principle governing or guiding the governance structure. The third important principle is transparency. From the word transparent, to be open, to be transparent. That is to mean that decision making processes, including appointments and performance, should be disclosed and should be open to scrutiny. Transparency. Principle number 4, board independence and competence. Board independence and competence. Board independence and competence. That is to mean that directors should be appointed on merit and they should be free from undue political or managerial interference so that they can exercise objective oversight. That is the meaning of board independence. The board should be independent. The board should be competent. The people who qualify to sit on the board should be the ones sitting on the board. They should be properly skilled, properly trained, and having the requisite experience. Are you following? Yes. Then lastly, we have fiduciary. Fiduciary responsibility. Fiduciary responsibility. Fiduciary responsibility. That is to mean that board members and executive are legally obligated to act in the best interest of the interest and the public that it serves, and not personal and also not sectoral interests. Those who sit on this board, the ones who sit on the management team, those who comprise the management team, both the board and the management team have a fiduciary responsibility, which is to mean that they should exercise their mandate in the best interest of the public and not in their own interest or sectional interest. Should be in the interest of the public. That is a very important principle that guides the governance of public enterprises. And that marks the end of our today's lesson, in which we have studied the subtopic on organization and governance structure. We have outlined the structure, which comprises, number 1, of the parent ministry or line ministry. Number 2, we have the board of directors. Number 3, the CEO or the MD. Then there is the management team under the MD. Then we have shareholding or ownership entity. Then in this lesson, we have highlighted 5 principles guiding the governance structure, beginning with separation of powers. Number 2, accountability. Number 3, transparency. Number 4, board independence and competence. And lastly, fiduciary responsibility. That is the end of the lesson. Thank you for attending. God bless you. Bye-bye.